Hey! I'm back again with a new Baldur's Gate 3 Astarion video. Yay! um, first of all, thanks for the 100 subscribers. I'm kind of shocked that I managed to gather 100 people in a month and actually got some people to watch me talk about stuff for a few minutes. I also really appreciate your comments and analysis of your own. Reading them is such a blast. Honestly, it feels good to talk about stuff that I like and gather people with similar mindsets. I thought I'd do these videos and probably eventually get sick of it after a while, but 3 videos in and I'm having fun. And hey, if you want to join in the fun, hit the subscribe button. It motivates me to do more of these, so yeah. Okay, before I dive into today's topic, I want to clear something up if you guys don't mind. You can skip straight to the analysis part if you wish, but I feel like it's kind of important to point it out beforehand, and it's actually related to today's topic, so... Okay, I will be upfront. You should know that I will be quite biased when I'm talking about Ascendant Astarion. You see, it's actually hard for me to genuinely get triggered emotionally by any form of media. There are really a few medias that manage to, how can I say this, disturb or sadden me on a deeper personal level. Like, at the top of my mind, I can only think of, like, Silent Hill 3, The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson, or even Disney's Inside Out, believe it or not. I don't mean getting angry or offended, by the way. What I mean is actual triggers that just brings back bad memories. And I have to admit, the Ascendant Astarion route had made it to the list. If someone among you likes Ascendant Astarion, that's fine. I also like angsty romance as much as the other person. Heck, I wrote and worked on a D&D-like story for nearly 7 years and made the main character and her love interest have the angstiest relationship ever. So, I get it. Fulfill your yandere fantasies, have fun. It's your world, your game, you do you. But know that there won't be many praises here today. I just found this whole route very toxic, and I had to occasionally just close my laptop and look at cat videos on Instagram to cope. Amazing acting by Neil Newbon though. Only he could pull such a thing off, honestly. Okay. Thank you for hearing me out. Now, without further ado, let's get this over with. So, by this point, you probably know the whole Astarion romance route, right? In case you don't, I have 2 videos about that. Give them a go, then join me, I'll wait. So this whole mess, this whole route starts when you enter Cazador's mansion. As you already know, Astarion already starts getting intoxicated by the power this ritual offers when you already set foot in Baldur's Gate. We know that this power hunger comes from the fact that he lived with fear for 200 years and sees this opportunity to protect himself. And also, he didn't see anything better in his life. The thing about Astarion is, the guy is the dictionary equivalent of duality. He has a compassionate and understanding side of him, which can be especially seen in a good Dirge playthrough, but also there's this 200 years of learned behavior from his master and his dark vampiric nature that constantly causes inner conflict. The Astarion you meet at the beginning, the one who tries to seduce you and enjoy all the bloody chaos, is a role he likes to play, as I've said in my first video. Because it's easier to protect himself if he puts that mask on. It's something he learned from Cazador, and interestingly, Cazador's other spawn use this too. I've recently come across a video where if you don't take Astarion with you and meet Petras, he actually says exactly the same things that Astarion says at the beginning of the game.
Hello, beautiful. Aren't you a sight to behold?
Hello, beautiful.
You look like someone who enjoys a party. There's a celebration being held in the palace of Cazador Czar. Why not join us? Oh, thank goodness we're such good friends then.
Thank goodness we're all such good, trusting friends then.
I look forward to seeing you at the palace, though. It'll be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I promise.
I promise you a night you'll never forget.
Basically, the choice you're making is something more than making Astarion a full vampire or leaving him as a spawn. You are choosing who Astarion should be. The dark vampiric predator who he likes to act as, or the compassionate spawn who eventually learns to be vulnerable. Sadly, in the Ascendant version, you basically make Astarion continue this cycle of him having a dark vampire image who has lust for power. And you sacrifice 7,000 innocent souls for this. Okay, so I have to mention this. I see a lot of people saying, this is what he wanted to be. Why are you not respecting his wishes? It really boggles my mind. As I said multiple times in my previous videos, sometimes you have to save people from themselves and help them heal. The biggest, most important part of human interaction is being able to disagree with people. Disagreements help you understand each other. It sets your boundaries. It helps you gain new viewpoints and sometimes even strengthens your bonds. You cannot always agree and go ahead with everything people say. Disagreements are just as important in a relationship as being supportive. Your disagreements with him and your active support and kindness towards him is the reason why Astarion changes so much in Act 3. Okay, so this is a bad example, I know, and bear with me here, but my question is, if you had a friend or a loved one who had a dangerous addiction, which slowly ate them away, would you go ahead and tell them, oh, keep taking the substance because it makes you feel good? No, you'll try to help them to get better and help them before it gets worse. If you are able to help and if they are willing to be helped, by the way. As I said, I'm sorry, I know this isn't the best example to give here, but the point I'm trying to make is when Astarion ascends, Tau basically turns Astarion into the thing he fears the most. And Tau proves to him that yes, he has no value as a spawn. He has no value as being himself. He only has value if he is more powerful. Believe it or not, in some people's games, Astarion doesn't even ask you to help him. He just straight up refuses to ascend altogether. I was quite shocked to see that happen, and this tells a lot about Astarion's personality. This actually happened in MMO Girl's playthrough, who I've been following religiously ever since the early access years. I'm definitely going to link her video down in the description.
Bet by now you guys are noticing that something is very different here. There's absolutely no choice whatsoever about the ritual. Astarion just kills Cazador no matter what. I didn't have a say in it at all. I didn't have to persuade him not to ascend. nothing. This is the outcome I've been trying to tell people about for a while now. I was actually very confused because after seeing this scene through for the first time, I actually tried to find out why I never got the option to ascend. I didn't really want him to ascend in this game, but I did want, the ability to be able to see that outcome. I found people had to persuade him not to do it, but somehow in my game, he doesn't even want to. It's completely skipped over as though it weren't even a possibility, which I have to say is pretty amazing. I didn't want to look at the end, but I did check a lot of other people's playthroughs, and I found that there was a whole other set of dialogue trees, where you would have to ask him what he needs or try and talk him out of it, and that just was not there for me.
When you ascend him and go back to the camp, the first thing Astarion says is that he can't believe that you let him do this. And he continues with, "This is what you wanted."
I can't believe you let me do that. Killing all those people. A pleasant surprise. That's what you want, isn't it? To be mine. Forever.
If you are here from Twilight series, or maybe you read a lot of Anne Rice back in the day, or you're straight up a World of Darkness fan, if you are, I salute you, I love World of Darkness. There is something you have to know about Dungeons and Dragons vampires. Vampire romances doesn't really work the way you think in D&D. You can be the greatest, most kind and helpful person in the world, but the minute you become a full vampire, everything gets twisted and corrupted. According to 5e, when you become a full vampire, love turns into obsession. Friendship turns into bitter jealousy. A generous priest may become greedy. A humble knight may become self-absorbed. In D&D, this is called the dark desire. The minute Astarion becomes a full vampire, you can clearly see this change. Up until that point, even if he saw you as a partner, he suddenly sees you as something he can control and manipulate. You are suddenly his pet. You are lesser than him. The world is just his plaything, and there's nothing more important. There are two choices at this point. If you refuse to be his spawn, your relationship ends. If you agree, you get a very hot, smexy scene. Which a lot of people also kept mentioning. This is the best part about ascending Astarion, and definitely worth it. Okay, fair enough, but the problem is I'm Ace. So it didn't really do much for me, and knowing the context, it actually made me feel horrible. But there's one thing I like about Ascendant Astarion, and I'll talk about that later. If you go along with being his spawn and get his smexy scene, when you use your wisdom to see what he thinks, the narrator says that he thinks that as long as you're with him, you'll keep degrading yourself. So this isn't really about love anymore, since he can't really feel the way we understand love. He even says that he will own your body and kill your mind, since he just sees you as his favorite furniture at this point. Yeah.
He will always see you as degrading yourself if you continue to be with him. But perhaps you wish to degrade yourself, and he knows it.
Tonight, I shall drink every drop of your blood, own your body, kill your mind.
It's more like keeping you on a leash, since you are useful. And you being in love with him is the best thing he can use because you are willingly obeying him. He actually even says he loves you, but he says it because you want to hear it. He mentions the very same thing here.
Oh, don't be like that. I'd never want to control you. I love you. That's what you've been waiting to hear, isn't it? That's what you want.
The other thing about Dark Desire is that when love is in the picture, vampires tend to be very fixated on youth and beauty. And guess what Astarion says the next day when you become his spawn?
You are so beautiful. And you will be beautiful forever.
If you go on with being his spawn, he calls you his consort. Once again, a lesser status. And every plan he has is basically revolving around taking over the world because he is unstoppable, like every other vampire. Ugh. I mean, you're not even analyzing Astarion at this point because honestly, there is no Astarion left. He's just another Cazador. Just another power-hungry vampire we read in 5e Monster Manual. At least the good news is, as a spawn you won't have to fear the sun, I guess. Because his powers will be in you too, so... Well, I guess. Ugh. If you keep talking to him, he says that he has no fear that you'll defy him because you will be perfectly obedient to him. I actually want to show the whole dialogue here.
Spawn is an ugly word. I really do prefer consort. Don't you worry. You have supped of my blood. It will be no trouble to extend a fragment of my protection to you. Just don't stray too far. But you'd never dream of doing that, would you? Why would I need to? You're going to be wonderfully obedient. As much as I wish to sequester you in a deep chamber of my palace and keep you all to myself, there's much to be done. First, we'll take Baldur's Gate. Then, we'll take the world. We'll dominate it until the sun itself melts. And then, we'll give ourselves to the night. Of course I will. And you'll drink mine. I can't wait to taste your lips after you've tasted me.
If you reject him, you basically end the whole relationship. And through this dialogue, you actually see the full vampire mindset even more. Even if you tell him that he should learn that sex and relationship isn't something to be used as power, he strongly disagrees with you now. In the end, he doesn't even care whether you're going to stay with him or not.
Please. Everything is about power. Sex, relationships, violence. They're all just different forms of control. And now you think you can stand there and tell me how to feel? Because what? Because you care? Your hands are as bloody as mine, darling. Why would you go along with any of this just to pretend you're innocent now? It seems I misjudged you. I thought we might have a future together, even an eternity. But perhaps you're not worthy. So, what's it to be, darling? Is this it? A pity, then. We could have had something truly special. I won't forget what you've done for me. I won't leave you to fight this alone. You came so far, only to slip now. Such a pity.
I actually laughed at the fact that the next day he's like, I already have everything, so screw you. Like, what an ass.
Just so you know, I have everything I ever wanted.
At least he stays with you until the Elder Brain situation is done. I mean, it makes sense because as long as the brain exists, his plans to dominate the world won't really work now, will it? After breaking up with him, he treats you like dirt, naturally. Now, here we come at my favorite part, believe it or not. I know I've been hating on all of this throughout the video. Thing is, there's a moment where he heartbreakingly showed me that even if the Astarion we loved is gone, taken by his dark desires, there's still something in him. After camping for 3 days, suddenly you see that he wants to talk, and he actually confesses that he would use your love until you would be nothing.
There's no use in us fighting any longer, is there? You are a person of rare talent. You aided greatly in my conquest, even if you did not end up a part of it. And if we were beholden to one another, well, how is that too different to being enslaved? It is for the best. I was trying with you, you know. In the only way I can try. The gravest crimes committed in this world are committed for love. A hunger crueler than bloodlust. I know how to play with it. And I can't resist playing the hand I know. I would have ruined your love. Used your trust until you were nothing. So, for what it's worth, in the end, I respect you for making the choice you did. I never thought you had it in you.
This actually shows me that the trauma he went through under Cazador is still there deep down, despite him being the most powerful being right now. We could even say the same thing about Cazador, considering what he also went through under Valioth. He can't help his dark desires at this point. I mean, the way he says love is in such disgust. This will forever be his nature, and there's nothing we can do. But the thing is, being a slave for so many years, I think he actually manages to see your point of view, meaning you'd be enslaved to him if you became his spawn, and he respects your decision to enter relationship. But that is the only good thing I can say about this, because it could have been much scarier when you think about it. He could have forced you into it, or something even worse. Larian really took the consent part seriously, and I respect them for it. Whether you end up being his spawn or not, it doesn't really matter, because he will still have spawns, despite you being one or not. That is his plan, after all. And this cycle of abuse will continue. What I'm guessing Valioth's master did to him, what Valioth did to Cazador, what Cazador did to Astarion, and what Astarion will do to Ta or his other future spawns. If you actually go to Cazador's crypt without Astarion and read Cazador's thoughts, you learn that he yearns for all of this to end. He grieves the boy he once was. He grieves the life he cannot fully live. Every day in eternity is painful for him. And I'm guessing this very pain made him more and more sadistic. He's also a servant to this dark curse after all.
These deathless dreams hold memories of a mortal life once forgotten. Of the boy I was, the man I became, the monster that will not end. I sleep but cannot rest. I live but cannot die. I am eternal, and I grieve.
And we can pretty much guess this will be what is going to happen to Astarion. Until one day, either you as his spawn or another spawn ends him. In my first video, I mentioned that abuse victims might either end up standing up against their abusers or they may become abusers. This one is basically the latter, and a sad one at that. As I said before, I wasn't even analyzing Astarion at this point. Without even realizing, I was just reciting what is written about vampires in the 5e monster manual. It's kind of heartbreaking, I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong, if you are going for a very evil playthrough with Dirge or something, they would be a horrifyingly fantastic couple. A ball spawn and an Ascendant Astarion, like damn. But as I mentioned multiple times before, I'm too faint-hearted to be evil in video games. I know I'm missing out on a lot of content, but honestly, I'm happy just watching other people wreaking havoc and doing Lord's work by uploading all of them here for us to watch. I tried to prepare myself by watching all of the Ascendant Astarion videos beforehand to get myself mentally ready for whatever was to come. But honestly, it still affected me deeply because I made my Barta based on myself. So it felt like I was subjecting Astarion to all of this myself. I'm sorry if I let too many personal feelings interfere with this one, but believe me, this was a hard video for me to get through. Larian's best and worst talent is making incredibly realistic characters, and it sucks me right into it. Anyway, comment down below your thoughts and analysis too. As I said, I love reading all of them, and they actually inspire me a lot too. Don't forget to leave a like too. Because like, one like equals one prayer for my traumatized soul by all of this. And hey, let me know who or what you want me to cover next. It honestly helps me plan these out since it takes me nearly 10 days to finish a video. So anyways, thank you for your support and I'll see you next time. Sayonara!